Hello, my name is Katarzyna Łak. I'm from University of Geneva and University of Copenhagen, and I'm a co-editor of special issue of Quality of Life Technologies. And today I wanted to thank Renate Fruchter from Stanford University, who she joins us to discuss the particular excellent topic and excellent article which is going to be published in this special issue. And maybe we start by introducing yourself and then pointing out to a bits of your research. Which particular quality of life aspects have you been researching?
Well, thank you so much, Kate, and congratulations on a really exciting special issue on quality of life using emerging technologies. I have to say, in the past 2 decades, we have been studying global teamwork in the project-based learning lab here at Stanford, more specifically focusing on cross-disciplinary, geographically distributed project teamwork. And one of the key aspects of global teamwork is well-being and knowledge work productivity that we've been looking at. And for us, well-being goes beyond wellness, which is typically focusing on health, and we look at key aspects such as engagement, participation, creativity, purpose, and satisfaction. And in this particular article, we present results from a larger NSF-sponsored project entitled UNCODE. It's an acronym that stands for Uncovering Hidden Cognitive Demands of Global Learners and Knowledge Workers. So if we step back and look at the global market economy where, projects are increasingly complex and distributed work environments run 24/7 and expose global learners and knowledge workers to 5 key discontinuities that act as stressors: time, space, discipline, technology, and culture. And these stressors further affect how people collaborate, both in academic settings and in corporate projects. They greatly influence the quality of online meetings, and understanding meeting participant mental and also physical states help build an awareness of engagement style and state, as well as fatigue level and cognitive workload. And if we can provide a feedback loop to nudge these participants to build an awareness of their own state as well as their distributed team member state, they will be able to self-regulate as well as better regulate meetings and performance, and consequently impact both their well-being and the quality of their work life and work-life balance.
Oh, that is fascinating. Yes, we have a great vision here, and I really once again thank you for this paper. And maybe we start. Next question would be, what specific technologies have you been using in your research? Talking about some persons were talking about wearables, and I would like to hear what are specific technologies which help you in your research.
Right. So it's very important to emphasize up front that we do field studies. So compared to, synthetic lab experiments. So we really understand that it is really hard to, as we look at mental states, to directly observe them as we interact with people. And on the other hand, it is obvious what people are doing, but it is much harder to gauge what they are thinking and what their cognitive workload is. So we have been using NeuroSky MindWave headset, which is a consumer electronics kind of ubiquitous wearable headsets with
Mm-hmm.
two main goals in mind. One, to collect accurate EEG brainwave data in real time as global learners and global knowledge workers are engaged in project activities. So it's a field study in the real context of their work. And the second, it does not obstruct their activity. So as we are so used to wear headsets, whether it's to listen to music or in this case to collect brainwaves in real time as they perform their meeting activities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating, and I think knowing now looking how the technology develops, we can even further expect that in some years these particular technologies will be even smaller and even less intrusive and less really stigmatizing maybe, because wearing something on your head all the time I know you would like to pick up a different EEG. Maybe at some point it will be rather a piece of jewelry even, which will be then picking up particular signals. What do you think?
Absolutely, and we've seen these headsets become smaller and much friendlier in terms of just instrumenting yourself, putting the headset on. Now it looks almost like a headset to listen to music. And what we have observed, because we've done a longitudinal study over a couple of years, multiple project teams, participants just forget about the headset after the first couple of minutes, and they just immerse themselves in the activity at hand.
This is great because that will increase the acceptance of these technologies, and also it will much more have an ecological validity, the data collected, when they really forget about the headset being worn and data being collected, right?
Right. So, I mean, you bring up a very important point. What is the social acceptance of wearing such wearable devices, as well as their benefit, the value proposition, right? And in this case, it really is intended to provide, first of all, feedback to the individual to be reminded, you are maybe in overdrive from a cognitive workload perspective, time to have a moment to recover, and maybe we'll have a chance to talk about that. So the value as well as the social acceptance is critical as we are moving very fast into the brave new world of wearables and smart IoT.
Yes, great. This is fascinating. Let's get back to your the particular paper, which is now going to be published in the special issue. And maybe you could summarize in a couple of sentences, give a teaser for this particular readers of the particular people's hidden mental motion states you've been looking into. So maybe you can start with how many participants you had, how many hours of data have you been recording, and what were the specific tasks or specific states you've been looking. I know those working, listening, but maybe please give a teaser for your paper, such we will get very excited about reading it.
Sure. So first of all, we collected EEG data, so brainwaves, in the context of a global teamwork course that I've been teaching now for more than 2 decades, and it offers a great test bed for quite diverse research projects and research questions. And so in this case, as I mentioned, we had global learners, architects, structural engineers, mechanical engineers, construction managers, life cycle financial managers, who came from partner universities as well as Stanford, that are distributed worldwide, specifically over 4 time zones: West Coast, Midwest, Caribbean, and Central Europe. And from all the data we collected during their weekly project meetings that were online, either web conferencing platforms or virtual world platforms, over a period of 4 months. That's kind of the time frame that these projects lasted. We selected what we call clean data from 10 males and 10 female graduate students, and that was the cohort that yielded a really fascinating big data focused on, in this case, on EEG brainwaves. Sure. You wanted to ask anything?
Yes, I would like to, most likely you continue, I'm sorry, maybe I disturb, in the sense of what were the specific tasks and specific states you've been looking into?
So, based on our past research studying global teams and project-based learning, we identified 5 typical project tasks that we used to collect specific data sets that were labeled with the following project tasks: work, listen, multitask, collaborate, and relax. So the relax task is an interesting one and very important for well-being, because even during communicative events online or in person, there are moments when we just, stop for a second and recover psychologically as well as physically, and those are very important. The less you do that, and that's part of the interesting insights, the less you interleave these recovery, or what I call micro-recovery moments, the higher the chance for cognitive overload, not just workload, and higher fatigue in a longer communicative situation. In addition to these label settings, as I mentioned, we collected data during their 2-hour weekly online project meetings over a period of 4 months. So that really yielded big data that we then used to apply our mental motion state model that we developed, which really offers a novel unsupervised learning algorithm to identify transitions between different mental states. We identified actually 3 specific mental motion states, and we call them, we use kind of the term motion using a running analogy. So, from running, that means, heavy mental workload, to light recovery, more medium mental workload when you are processing information or conducting simple tasks, to deep recovery when you take a moment to recover. And the question is how long that moment is, and how well you interleave these 3 states during collaborative settings.
This is amazing. This is absolutely fascinating. Thinking of this life like cycles, right? And you maybe at some point be able to even say what are the optimal durations and optimal motions for a given tasks and for given settings. This is great, but then I let you talk about the future. That's where I would like to ask, given what you know now, how do you predict that this technologies in the given context will develop, and And where is more research needed?
There is the short-term future, which really will benefit very soon from our preliminary findings and insights, such as recommendations for well-being and high-performance teamwork through interleaving of these different states, similar to what performance athletes are trained to do. However, learners and global knowledge workers just focus on their task without this very valuable, if you want, training to understand the correlation between these states, these mental motion states, as well as the transition between them and the task at hand. The other direction that we are very excited about is to integrate this analysis of the data that is yielded from the brainwave sensor with additional sensors such as body motion and heart rate to lead to, if you want, an analysis, a data fusion analysis that will give insights looking at higher level mental processes such as problem solving, negotiation, conflict resolution, decision making. And that will, of course, be beneficial to both learners as we are moving more and more to lifelong learning online with participants distributed all over the world, as well as in corporate settings, assisting knowledge workers to really target high performance teamwork.
This is great. I can even imagine having like a prescription for a day or for a specific task the worker needs to do based on some predictive models, right? Like where is the best time to do particular task, or who is the best, first, who is the best in what, and which particular context is the most optimal to achieve specific tasks. That would be great.
Exactly, and it is important to remind everyone that the state of individuals changes dynamically, and it needs to be taken into consideration in any individual or group activity to allow both self-regulation at the individual level and at group or team level. And that is, for the moment, left to, the skills of the people to empathize and read the cues, the nonverbal cues, which is very, very hard because everyone is just focusing on the task and the activity, and usually these meetings are fast-paced and very stressful.
Which then may lead to the burnout and problems in psychological health. So yes.
So the vision is, if we want to take the analogy of successful performance athletes who train and who really instrument themselves to understand how to pace themselves, there is a chance to really port this approach to train, and not just to train, but to provide in real time this type of feedback as a nudge. So maybe we have planned for a 2-hour meeting, but the aggregate data is indicative that it would be wise to just focus on the critical issues and defer some other issues to a later time and shorten the meeting as the overall group or team self-regulates and acts upon. So it's these nudges that we envision rather than telling people what to do, because we are wired for feedback, and we can take action, and control is given to us, which is so important.
This is fascinating. Yes, I'm looking forward to look in the continuation of your research and further papers. In the meantime, I have one of the last questions is, can you comment on interdisciplinary research approach in your research, where you have multiple disciplines, and can you say what are the challenges and how do you feel about interdisciplinary research?
That's a wonderful question, and in fact, the project-based learning lab has been a great environment that has brought researchers from very diverse disciplines and domains to leverage knowledge and technology and methods from the different perspectives to gain a better understanding what is the nature of cross-disciplinary, globally distributed project work. And in this particular project, we had wonderful colleagues from Finland, from the Finnish Institute for Occupational Health, that's, where you have the MDs, the doctors, the sleep experts, and the psychology experts, as well as colleagues from Aalto University at the Center for Workplace Psychology and Leadership. I have to say the collaboration has been extremely fruitful, as we have learned from each other so much. On one hand, design thinking and global teamwork and collaboration technologies and the challenges they bring to project work. And on the other hand, the medical aspects and the psychological aspects that were then linked with our knowledge, on big data analytics and machine learning. I have to say, with such a team, you can't go wrong. It's I like to say that it's at the interface between disciplines where you can find a lot of exciting questions that enlighten. And what we have done, none of us could have done by ourselves, which really allows us to, move the dial a little bit further. In this case, understanding the challenges and the opportunities in this complex global environment.
This is amazing. This is also my experience with quality of life technologies, the interdisciplinary aspect. So I'm really happy also to hear your experience. And my last question is, given your research topic and given your results, have you changed anything? Have you reflected upon your own way of working, collaborating, and have you changed anything in this case?
So, to paraphrase your question, whether I have some insights that have changed my behavior correctly?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, I have to say absolutely. And based on some of the findings and the evidence, actually, the quantitative evidence, I have changed and continue to work towards changing the way I interact and the way I run these global meetings. That has been very beneficial, I have to say.
This is wonderful to hear. I thank you very much for this interview. I hope now the readers are going to immediately download the full paper, read it through, contact you for further details, and follow you upon such exciting research. Thank you very much.
A pleasure to talk with you.